There is a strange silence that surrounds birthdays. Not the silence of an empty room, but the one that lives inside people, even when they're surrounded by friends, messages, balloons, and carefully curated photos. Behind every happy birthday, there's a psychological story unfolding, one that most people never admit, not even to themselves, because birthdays are not really about celebration. They're about measurement, a quiet, unspoken confrontation between who we are and who we thought we would be by now. Some people celebrate loudly, not because they're overflowing with joy, but because they're terrified of facing that internal mirror alone. Others disappear completely, hiding from the date as if it exposes something they've tried to avoid all year. And then there's a third group, the ones who celebrate, but do it with a particular emotional undertone, a kind of melancholy disguised as gratitude, a smile that trembles just enough to reveal a deeper truth. Birthdays are emotional checkpoints, moments when the unconscious steps forward and whispers, "Another year passed. Are you becoming the person you were supposed to be?" Most people will never say this out loud, but a birthday is a psychological pressure point. It activates memories, comparisons, expectations, unresolved wounds, and the quiet fear of time slipping faster than life evolving. When someone celebrates their birthday, what you're really seeing is not just happiness, but a negotiation between identity and expectation, past and future, validation and uncertainty. And the most fascinating part? Every type of birthday celebration, big parties, intimate dinners, disappearing from social media, posting long reflective captions, all of them reveal the inner architecture of the person's mind. There is a reason people act differently on the one day that belongs entirely to them. And once you understand that reason, you'll never look at a birthday the same way again. The hidden truth about birthdays is that they expose a psychological mechanism most people spend the entire year avoiding: the tension between identity and expectation. A birthday compresses that tension into a single day, and the mind reacts in ways that are subtle, emotional, and often unconscious. Most people don't celebrate their birthday. They defend themselves from it. Because the moment they wake up on that day, something shifts. There is a quiet pressure to feel a certain way, to be a certain way, to show gratitude, joy, maturity, progress, even if none of that reflects their internal reality. Society treats birthdays as milestones, and milestones demand evidence of growth. So the mind begins searching for it. This is why some people overplan their birthday. They construct the perfect day, not because they want it, but because they fear what an unplanned day might reveal. That life feels the same, or worse, stagnant. A celebration becomes a psychological shield against the suspicion that they haven't changed enough. Others avoid the date entirely. They let messages pile up, turn off notifications, act like it's just another day. But deep down, this avoidance is a quiet form of self-protection, escaping the judgment of time, the weight of unfulfilled potential, the comparison between inner expectations and reality. And then there are those who become unusually reflective. Birthdays pull unresolved emotions to the surface: nostalgia, regret, shame, pride, hope, exhaustion. The unconscious doesn't negotiate. It uses the date to remind you of unfinished business. Every year becomes a checkpoint, a psychological audit. Here's the invisible problem. Most people don't know why they feel this emotional turbulence. They assume they're being dramatic or overly sensitive, but they're not. The mind simply recognizes birthdays as markers of psychological progress, and when progress feels unclear, the tension becomes unavoidable. If this is already opening something inside you, if you feel some part of this truth landing deeper than expected, consider liking this video. It helps the channel reach more people who need this kind of clarity. Years ago, a psychologist named Dr. Ellen Langer conducted a study that became quietly famous in academic circles, not because it was dramatic, but because it revealed a truth most people feel but never articulate. She observed how individuals behaved in the days surrounding their birthdays. The findings were unsettling. A man turning 30 suddenly quit his job, not because he hated it, but because he woke up with the crushing realization that he had become someone he never planned to be. A woman turning 25 ended a perfectly functional relationship, explaining, I just realized I'm not the version of myself I thought I'd be with him. And then there was a third participant, a quiet, introverted guy who planned an elaborate party for over 40 people. When Langer interviewed him afterward, he admitted something that caught her completely off guard. I needed the noise. I needed people around. If I were alone on my birthday, I'm afraid I'd see my life too clearly. Birthdays didn't change people. They revealed them. Years later, another experiment replicated the pattern. Individuals made more life-altering decisions within 30 days of their birthday than at any other time of the year. Gym memberships, career pivots, breakups, moves to new cities, all spiked immediately after the date. Why? Because a birthday activates the observer self, the psychological mode where we step outside our own life and look at it from a distance. It's the moment the mind asks, is this who I've become? Is this the life I want to keep living? This is why some people feel lighter after their birthday, and others feel strangely hollow. When you watch someone's birthday behavior, you're not just seeing a celebration, you're witnessing a psychological recalibration in real time. And if you're fascinated by this hidden architecture of human behavior, subscribe to Inner Truth Lab so you don't miss the next insights. The deeper truth behind birthday behavior is this. People don't celebrate their age. They negotiate their identity. A birthday is the one moment when the unconscious refuses to stay silent. It forces a confrontation between three psychological selves: the self you were, the self you are, and the self you expected to become. Every emotional reaction, joy, sadness, avoidance, excitement, comes from the tension between these three versions. People who throw big, loud, extravagant parties aren't necessarily confident. Many are trying to anchor a version of themselves they're afraid of losing, the fun one, the social one, the I'm doing great one. The celebration becomes a performance to reinforce an identity that feels fragile beneath the surface. People who avoid their birthdays aren't cold or indifferent, they're overwhelmed. Avoidance is the mind's way of saying, I can't face the reality of who I've become, not today. These individuals often carry unspoken disappointments, silent regrets, or a lingering fear that their life isn't moving fast enough. The nostalgic ones, the reflective, quiet celebrators, reveal something else, a deep awareness of time. They sense the invisible thread between past and future, and birthdays intensify it. These people usually carry a strong internal critic, evaluating their progress with almost painful precision. And then there are those who feel strangely sad on their birthday, even when everything seems fine. Psychologists call this temporal dissonance. The emotional discomfort that appears when your current reality doesn't match the life you imagined at this age. Your brain is grieving the versions of you that never happened. But here is the most important insight. A birthday doesn't create these emotions. It reveals what was already there. The fears, the hopes, the pressure, the longing, all of it surfaces because the mind treats a birthday as a checkpoint of existence. It's not a celebration of life, it's a measurement of alignment. And in that measurement, people show you exactly who they are, even when they don't realize it. If you understand the psychology behind birthdays, you gain a powerful lens, not only to read others, but to understand yourself with uncommon clarity. Because the way someone behaves on their birthday is not random, it is a map, a subtle emotional blueprint of what their mind is negotiating. Here are a few ways to use these insights in real life, without judgment, only awareness. 1. Notice the emotional tone, not the celebration style. A big party doesn't always mean happiness, and a quiet day doesn't always mean sadness. What matters is the emotional texture. Is the person energized, nervous, avoidant, restless, calm? This reveals their internal negotiation with the passing of time. 2. Watch how they talk about the year ahead. Some people speak with hope and direction. Others speak vaguely, avoiding commitments, because commitments expose self-doubt. And some avoid the future entirely, a sign of unresolved fear or confusion. 3. Pay attention to the rituals they repeat. People who post long emotional captions are often trying to integrate their past and present. People who disappear from social media often feel unprepared for exposure. Those who over-celebrate may be reinforcing a fragile identity. 4. Notice what they don't say. Silences on birthdays are more revealing than words. The unspoken tension, the slight tremble in the smile, the hesitation before responding to, "How do you feel today?" This is where the real story lives. 5. Use your own birthday as a psychological audit. Instead of running from it or performing for it, ask yourself, what part of me feels aligned with my age? What part feels behind? What part feels lost? This transforms the date from emotional pressure into emotional clarity, because birthdays are not checkpoints of success. They are checkpoints of congruence. And if one of these insights hit deeper than you expected, or expose something about yourself or someone you know, let me know in the comments. Have you ever noticed this pattern in yourself or someone else? Your perspective may help someone reading. Understanding the psychology behind birthdays gives you access to something powerful, almost too powerful if handled without care. Because once you know what a birthday reveals, it becomes easy to interpret people with a level of precision they may not be ready for. But here is the crucial part. Awareness must never become a weapon. Birthdays expose vulnerabilities people don't consciously choose to show. They reveal insecurities, silent fears, unresolved timelines, and the delicate architecture of someone's identity. Using this knowledge to judge, shame, or manipulate would not only be unethical, it would be psychologically harmful. For example, if someone avoids their birthday, it doesn't mean they're emotionally weak. It means they're carrying a weight deeper than they can articulate. If someone over-celebrates, it doesn't mean they're superficial. It means they're trying to protect an identity that feels unstable. And if someone becomes unusually reflective or sad, it doesn't mean they're ungrateful for life. It means they're human, confronting the invisible pressure of time. The danger lies in assuming too much. Human behavior is patterned, yes, but people are still complex, layered beings with histories you cannot see. Birthdays offer signals, not absolute truths. Treat them as invitations for understanding, not diagnosis. The second danger is turning this insight inward without compassion. If you use your own birthday as a psychological audit, do it gently. Self-awareness is powerful, but self-punishment is destructive. Don't allow the tension between who you are and who you should be to become a weapon against yourself. Instead, let it become a compass, a quiet guide toward alignment. Awareness is only meaningful when paired with empathy, especially toward the people whose internal battles you'll never fully understand, and toward yourself, the person you live with every day. There is something undeniably human about the way we respond to birthdays. Not the balloons, not the candles, not the curated moments captured for others to witness, but the quiet pause beneath all of it, the moment when time feels close enough to touch. Because a birthday is not really about becoming older, it is about becoming aware. Aware of the chapters we've closed too quickly, and the ones we've left open for too long. Aware of the versions of ourselves we tried to become, and the ones we abandoned without noticing. Aware of the distance between the life we imagined and the life we are quietly building one imperfect day at a time. Some people celebrate to silence the doubts. Others withdraw to protect themselves from the noise. Most hover in the space between, hopeful and hesitant, grateful and unsure, trying to make sense of the strange mixture of nostalgia, pressure, longing, and possibility that only this day seems able to unlock. Birthdays remind us that time is not the enemy. It is simply a witness to the years we survived, the lessons we absorbed, the identities we shed, and the courage, even the smallest amount, that kept us moving forward despite everything. And if there is one truth that lingers when the candles are gone and the messages fade, it is this. You are allowed to grow at your own pace. You are allowed to rewrite yourself as many times as needed. You are allowed to step into the next year not with certainty, but with honesty. Because the real celebration is not the party, nor the rituals, nor the performance. It is the quiet recognition that you are still here, still learning, still evolving, still capable of becoming someone you're proud to meet. Time moves forward, but so do you.